When you're hanging out with your friends, do you tend to end up getting in trouble? Making bad decisions? If so, then you need to continue on our 4-step program for learning how to be a world-class jerk and a terrible friend. If you want to level up your game, stick with us. Let's get at it. Well, hey there, I'm Dominic, and Lighthouse is a youth ministry at acc.church where we desire for every student to personally experience the light of Christ and for students to shine the light of Christ into your spheres of influence. Welcome, and if you're not already subscribed to the Lighthouse channel, hit the subscribe button right now. Last time I showed you how to be a bad friend by tearing down your friends with your words, and we watched clips from Mean Girls to illustrate what that looked like. If you missed it, you can click on the eye in the upper right hand corner to watch that. So today's way to lose friends is to lead them to make bad decisions. If being uncommitted to them and tearing them down with your words isn't going to get rid of them, getting them to make bad decisions is definitely going to help you. There are some basic ways that you might already be doing to get rid of your friends. For example, do you tell them to do stupid things? Do you practice bad habits in front of them? Do you get them into questionable situations? If you're doing these things, then you're doing a great job bringing them down to your level. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." So if you want to break your friends and have them be unsuccessful, lazy, or just make tons of huge mistakes, then you need to exude bad character. Just listen carefully because I'm going to tell you how to lead them to make bad decisions. Here are 3 easy steps. First, openly display your bad habits. The habits that you display around your friends will be the ones they will sooner or later develop themselves. Unfortunately, this means the same for both good and bad ones. So don't be practicing good things like honoring your parents and your elders, being responsible, keeping hygiene. Instead, focus on those not so great things like lying, swearing, cheating on tests, and being just downright mean to others. The old adage, garbage in, garbage out. What you put in is what you get, and what you surround yourself is what you become. If you keep telling your friend to do bad things and to continuously get in trouble, you may just get lucky and they or their parents will decide that you two shouldn't be hanging out anymore. Second, convince them that they are missing out. This step has literally been around since the beginning. Go to Genesis, and you can preview in Genesis 3 how Adam and Eve sinned for the very first time. There's an important detail that some people miss out on. It was totally their fault, but Satan played them. He dangled right in front of them that God was holding out on them, and that if they would just partake of the forbidden fruit, they would be like God. As soon as that lie started ringing in their ears, they were ready to justify any action. So, when your friends start saying things like, "I don't think we should do that," or "Isn't that against the rules?" just start pressuring them and tell them how they will be missing out if they start playing all goody two-shoes. At the end of my freshman year in college, I was on an end-of-the-year retreat with my college fellowship. While I knew a lot of the upperclassmen, I really wanted to impress them, and I didn't want to get left out. Now, they had decided to pull a big set of pranks on everyone. And in order to address my own FOMO, I not only went to the Market Basket in Ringe, New Hampshire to buy all our supplies, I also helped pull some of them off, like this one, and another one that involved toilets, Nutella, and plastic wrap. So, enough said. This is all to say that it can be easy to have major FOMO. Third, you can get your friends into questionable situations. Once they are willing to blindly follow you and your logic, abuse that trust and take them places they would have never found themselves on their own. These could be parties where there's a ton of drinking, or breaking into someone's pool at night, or street racing against other kids from school. There are all great situations that have a great potential for disastrous outcomes, and the best part is there is no good explanation for them when they get busted other than, "Well, my friends." This is not what friends do, but I'm sure you picked up on that already. And you probably noticed that you or someone else that you know may have been treating someone that way. If you think this is all a bunch of after school special rubbish, then I pray that you would really take a moment and listen, because I don't want you to have that experience where you end up asking yourself, what am I doing here? How did I get up in this situation? Because 9 times out of 10, the answer is probably your friends. Proverbs 13:20 says, "Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm." Instead of just ceasing to be a bad friend, we want to lead you to be the opposite. As a Proverbs verse says, those who are wise can lead others towards wise actions. So in the middle of your schools, these places where terrible friendships can be practiced, let's live counter to those trends. If you want to start being a good friend, then you need to do the following. The first thing you can do is to set good examples for others. Nobody wants to see their friends fail. But if we are setting bad examples for them, we will only be throwing stumbling blocks in their way. In order to see them succeed, we must model the examples for them to stick to. Study for your tests, be respectful to your coaches and your club advisors. Stay off your phone in class. In other words, be consistent in your character. Be consistent in how you behave. They will see them not only as good paths, but they will have someone to confide in when they are having trouble keeping to them. Together, you can be strengthened on the journey of life, but you can't if someone is off in the ditch. The next thing you can do is to convince your friends they don't need to prove themselves. It's not enough to not bully them into situations through fear of missing out. If someone isn't spreading the message that they are enough, they will bend to someone's message of falling in line with their behaviors. Through your words and actions, let them know that you give them your respect and attention. Use your words to affirm them and tell them that they don't need to pull stunts of any kind to make you think that they are cool or want to spend time with them. Show them loyalty and love so that they won't be led to life-threatening ideas. The last thing you can do is to surround them with the right situations and the right people. A real friend doesn't put others in situations they won't enjoy, could be endangered by, or even get in trouble in. They take them places that would be beneficial. That means things like being consistent in your character, not wearing a mask in one setting and switching masks in another, showing up to class, turning on your camera in small group, inviting your friends to Lighthouse. But being a real friend is about more than just taking them to the right places. It means connecting them to the right people. How about introducing them to people from your small group, or maybe even your counselor? When I first started joining my youth fellowship when I was a freshman in high school, and it was much smaller than Lighthouse, I think we had about 30 high schoolers only. The biggest influences that helped me become a Christian were my class, who showed me what living the gospel looked like as a high schooler. And my counselors were another huge influence on me. If my class didn't love on me, show me what it meant to be vulnerable, to be held accountable to one another, to encourage each other to grow in our spiritual walks with Christ, to tell each other that digging deeper into God's word is worth it, I don't know if I'd be here today, to be honest. If my counselors and Sunday school teachers didn't model for me what a young adult who is following Jesus looks like, I don't think I would have become a Christian without that future vision. What I'm saying is that there are 2 different ways someone can express, how did I end up here? Your actions and introductions shouldn't have a friend asking the question, how on earth did I end up in this mess? But instead, where would my life be headed if I didn't have such great friends as these? In the Old Testament, the story of the Israelites is really just a repeating story with slightly different circumstances and with different people involved. But the final results are always the same. The Israelites cry out because they're oppressed. God rescues the Israelites. They pledge to be faithful to God. Then they worship other idols. Then the cycle just repeats itself. They get accustomed, and everything with God felt repetitive and the same old, same old. Now, while the pattern was always the same, how were they introduced to these other idols? They were introduced to them through their neighboring people they often would do business with and they would marry. And so the people closest to them practiced these things and led them to follow these things too. Because deep down, whether they knew it or not, they had a sense of trust with these people that led them to let their guard down, and that would soon have them open and impressionable to their acquaintances' habits and beliefs. Friends can make or break each other. Are you being affected negatively by those around you? Are you leading your friends down a good path or a poor one? Let's talk about that as we go into our small groups. Here are your discussion questions for today. When was the time you got in trouble with your friends? Second, why is it so easy to give in to peer pressure? Next, what does it feel like to be in a bad situation, and how can you prevent it from happening? Fourth, where would you say your friends are taking you? Where could you end up because of the friends that you have? And lastly, are there any habits you need to work on fixing or relationships that you need to be a better influence in? As you get some time off from school, we want to encourage you to truly find time to rest and to recharge over spring break. So we won't be meeting for Lighthouse on March 12th, March 14th, and March 19th. We will resume Lighthouse for the second Sunday of spring break on March 21st. We have a survey we would love for all of Lighthouse to fill out. You can find the survey by going to acc.church/Lighthouse21survey. We want to know how you're doing, what you're up to, and how we can better serve you. Now, we've got prizes for you. Yup, you've heard me right, prizes. So it's in your best interest to fill out the survey. We've got an amazing prize pack for the grand prize winner. We've got snacks, drinks, instant noodles, candy, Muji pens, a Sanex face mask, a Korean face mask, a boba plushie, and more. This prize pack is gonna be stuffed full. Our second and third prize winners will also win gift cards. I hope you all complete the survey. Now, in the survey is an optional question for you to share your best idea for a future Lighthouse teaching series. The criteria for this winner will be based upon originality, relevance, and connecting to the distinct emphasis we place on Friday lessons, which is about showing you how faith and everyday life intersect with one another, and Sunday lessons, which is about teaching you the Bible and theology for the teaching series. And the winner for this question will win not just one squashmallow, but 2 squashmallows. I can't wait to see your ideas. Hey there again. I hope today's lesson helps you see the importance of the friends you keep and the impact on your decisions your friends can have on you. Also, it's important to recognize that if you're a Christian, you have the ability to influence and shape the lives of your friends by your character and the example that you set. Whether you realize it or not, you're discipling your friends through your relationships. Be consistent and godly example to your friends and accept them without pushing them to need to prove themselves and creating a sense of FOMO in your friend circles. John chapter 1 verse 7 says, this is Jesus, came as a witness to bear witness about the light that all might believe through him. Let's imitate and model our own lives after Jesus by bearing witness to the impact and the influence of the gospel on our lives to our friends. It has been my consistent prayer and deepest hope that in your small group, you will find friends that you can have fun with, grow in your love for God together, and that you will grow close grow so close where one day maybe you'll be at each other's weddings and maybe as one another's groomsmen and bridesmaids, and that you will have countless stories of time spent together. Make sure to stay connected with us through the week online at acc.lighthouse.org and on Instagram at acc.lighthouse. Have a great start to your weekend, and we'll see you in the next video.